So now you can set the head aside. I'm going to show you how to make the body. So you're going to use the same colored yarn as the main color. I'm using my Magnolia Way or beige colored yarn. And we're going to start with the chain of 31. So the first thing you're going to do is just take your yarn, fold it over on itself to form a loop. Take your crochet hook, go right through the loop, hold the base of the loop with your middle finger and your thumb. Then just yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through the loop for a slip knot. Go ahead and cinch that knot down and then cinch the loop around your crochet hook. And then I'm just going to show you 4 chains on video tutorial, but you're going to make a chain of 31. So you just yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through the loop for 1, 2, 3, and 4. So go ahead, finish a chain of 31 and then come back. So my initial chain measures approximately 7 inches, and this is what it looks like. So now you're just going to take your crochet hook and you're going to count back to the second chain. So here's 1 from the hook. So here's 1 and then 2. So the second chain from the hook, take your crochet hook, go into that stitch, bring up a loop, and then make a single crochet. And then you're just going to make 1 single crochet in every stitch back across. And then when you're finished, so this first chain that we made is called the starting chain. So this row that we're working now is the first row. So for the first row, we're making 1 single crochet in every stitch back across. And that will give you a stitch count of 30 when you're finished. So now this is how my work looks after finishing the first row. And after finishing the first row, you should have a stitch count of 30. Then we're going to move up to the next row. And to move up to the next row, or a second row, you're going to make a chain of 1 and then turn your work. So that first chain 1 counts as your first stitch for the second row. And it's right over, you'll see this little upslope right here, that's chain 1, that's at the base of the chain 1, and that counts as your first stitch. And then you're going to work into the next stitch over, bring up a loop, make a single crochet, so you can see your chain 1 on the end, and then your first stitch. And then you're just going to make 1 single crochet in every stitch back across, and when you reach the end you should still have a stitch count of 30. So go ahead, finish making 1 single crochet in every stitch back across and then come back. So this is how your work should look after finishing the second row. And now you're going to move up to the third row, and you're going to keep repeating the same pattern. You're going to chain 1, turn your work, make a single crochet into the next stitch, and then 1 single crochet in every stitch back across. And you're going to keep repeating this pattern with each row maintaining a stitch count of 30. So I just finished the third row and I still have a stitch count of 30. So go ahead, keep repeating this pattern where you chain 1, turn your work, make a single crochet into the next stitch, and 1 single crochet in every stitch back across until you have a total of 30 rows. So you need a total of 30 rows. And in each row you'll have a stitch count of 30. So go ahead, finish 30 rows and then come back. So then after you finish your 30 rows, then you can go ahead and finish off. Just yarn over and just pull enough yarn through to sew the body. So this portion, this panel that you made, is for the bottom of the body, as well as for the sides. So now we just need to make the top portion of the body as well as the front and the back panel. So I'm going to show you how to make those panels. Those panels are made the exact same way. The only difference is that you will change the starting chain. So the starting chain will be different and the number of rows. So I'm going to give you the measurements for this. So again, each of these boxes is about an inch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 inches in the width, and then the height is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 inches. So 7 by 6 inches. So now, after you finish the bottom and the two sides panel, just make the top panel. And for the top panel, you're going to chain 21, and then you need a total of 10 rows. And then the measurements for this panel is approximately a little over 4 inches by a little over 2 inches. So here I'll just show you. So you can see that one of the boxes is about an inch, so approximately 2 inches by a little over, almost 4.5 inches in length. Then the front and the back panel are made the exact same way. So you'll start with a chain of 11, and then you need a total of 10 rows. And then this one measures approximately 2 inches by 2 inches. Then we're going to sew the body pieces together. So the first thing that you want to do is place the bottom and side panels, the one panel that forms the bottom and the sides, place that so that the wrong side is facing up in front of you. Then take the top panel, and that one will also have the wrong side facing up. Place that right into the top right corner. Then just take your tapestry needle and the same colored yarn. I'm using the long end that I left for sewing. And you're just going to take and grab the top stitch of both panels and then sew the two panels together. Just go back and forth sewing the top panel to one of the side panels of the bottom and two side panel. So then, this is what it looks like so far after I've sewed the top panel to one of the side panels. And when you open it up, you can see the nice clean edge that's on the right side. So on the wrong side, you'll see the ridge that's created by sewing. So this ridge that's created should always be on the wrong side of your alpaca. Then, now you're going to attach the opposite side. So you just kind of fold up the opposite side, and then use the same colored yarn to sew the opposite side in place. Then you can take your tapestry needle and the same colored yarn and just go back and forth and sew the opposite side to the top panel. So this is what it looks like so far. I have the wrong side facing towards me. So the ridges, you can see the sewing ridges, and this is the top part of the alpaca. Here's the side, and then you have the bottom, and then you have the other side. So now we're just going to put the back panel in place. So just get your back panel, and you can put your tapestry needle on the long end that you left for sewing, or you could just use the same colored yarn. I'm going to tie a knot with one of the loose yarn ends in the corner. Then I'm going to take and just line up the back panel and then sew it in place. So then you just go in and out and then just sew the back panel in place. So then this is what it looks like. You can see the ridges all of the ridges are on the wrong side. Then you're ready to take your front panel and sew that in place. So I have a couple of long loose yarn ends that I left for the front panel. So I'm just going to line up the corner, and then I'm just going to sew the front panel in place. And then you'll see that after you sew the front panel in place, you'll have a square opening, and that's where the neck portion is going to go. So now, after you finish sewing on the front panel, your body is ready to turn inside out. So you just take and turn the body so that the right side is facing you. And now you can go ahead and stuff the body with craft stuffing. You only want to place the craft stuffing into the back body portion to kind of form the back portion of the body. And you'll be able to stuff more after we make more of the neck. But just put some craft stuffing in the area that might be a little bit difficult to get craft stuffing into after you create the neck. Then we're going to start making the neck portion. So now go ahead and just put your crochet hook into the corner of the neck portion and bring up a loop with your main colored yarn, and then just tie a knot. Then you can go ahead and chain one. Then you're just going to make one single crochet into the next stitch and one single crochet in each stitch until you get to the first corner. So one single crochet in every stitch until you get to the first corner. I'm about to get to the corner, so I'll work that with you. So now I have the stitch right before the corner and I have the stitch after. So I'm going to make a single crochet 2 stitches together. So you take your crochet hook, go into the next stitch, bring up a loop, then go into the next stitch and bring up a loop, and then single crochet 2 stitches together. Bring the loop through all 3 loops, the yarn through all 3 loops. Then just take and go into the next stitch over and make a single crochet. And you're just going to repeat this all the way around until you get back to where you started and then come back. So for mine, I ended up with 38 stitches in the round. And for the next, and that's not unusual, so if you have a different stitch count from me, that's because we had to make the single crochet 2 stitches together. It could be the way we sewed the top panel in place and the way that we made a single crochet, estimated a single crochet into the stitches along the back. So you may come out with a different stitch count as well. So over the next 2 rounds, you want to get your stitch count down to 32. If you already have a stitch count of 32, then you just maintain that stitch count for the next 3 rounds of 1 single crochet in every stitch. That's only if you have the stitch count of 32. So for mine, I ended up with a stitch count of 38. So for the next 2 rounds, I'm going to decrease the stitch count by 3. So for this next round, I'm going to evenly space my single crochet 2 stitches together around the neck. So I'll make one over here, I'll make one over here, and I'll make one over here. And you can place a stitch marker in each of those places to help remind you if you're doing the same thing as me. But I'm just going to remember that I need one around here, here, and here. And that will decrease my next round by 3 stitches. So I'm going to show you the first decrease stitch so that you'll remember how to make it. It's the same way that we did for the corner stitches on the previous round. So I'm going to make 1 single crochet into each stitch. And the reason why I'm only making 3 is because I want to make a gradual decrease. So you could just make all 6 on this round if you wanted to, 6 decrease stitches if you came out with a 38 stitch count too, and you're trying to get down to 32. But for me, I'd just rather just make it a gradual. Since we're making 3 rounds of 1 single crochet in every stitch if you have 32 stitches in the round. But since I have 38, I need to decrease to get down to 32. So I'm making 1 single crochet, and now I've reached where I want to make my first single crochet 2 stitches together, or my first decrease stitch. And what this will do is take 2 stitches and decrease it to 1. So I'll decrease the stitch count by 1 with this first single crochet 2 stitches together. And remember, I'm making 3 of them. 1 here, single crochet 2 stitches together, and 1 here, single crochet 2 stitches together. And that will decrease my stitch count by 3 after I finish this round. So then I just go into the next stitch over, bring up a loop, go into the next stitch over, bring up a loop, yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and bring the yarn through all 3 for a single crochet 2 stitches together, or my first decrease stitch, and I decreased the stitch by 1. Then I just make 1 single crochet in every stitch until I get to the area where I want to make my second single crochet 2 stitches together. So now I've finished that round. I'm going to go ahead and move my yarn marker up, and like I said before, if you already have a stitch count of 32, then you just maintain your stitch count for this next round, and you just make 1 single crochet in every stitch around. For me though, I have 35 stitches in the round, and I want to get down to 32, so I'm going to make 3 decrease stitches again in the round as I crochet this round. So I'm going to make 1 single crochet in every stitch except for 3 different areas around the neck where I'm going to single crochet 2 stitches together so that I can decrease the stitch count by 3 again, and that will bring me down to a stitch count of 32 for the next round, which is what I want. So now we should all be at a stitch count of 32. So we will all have the same size neck at this point, which is what we want. Then just take and move your yarn marker up, and then you're going to make 1 round of 1 single crochet in every stitch around, which will give us a stitch count of 32. So now we're going to make 1 more decrease round, and for this decrease round you're going to take your yarn marker, move it up to where you left off, and then you're going to make 1 single crochet into 4 stitches, and then you're going to single crochet 2 stitches together. And you're going to repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker, make 1 single crochet into 4 stitches, and then single crochet 2 stitches together, repeating that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. So now I have 2 stitches remaining. Go ahead and make 1 more single crochet 2 stitches together, and then that will give you a stitch count of 26 to finish this round. So I have 26 stitches in the round. Then go ahead and move your yarn marker up and make 1 more round of 1 single crochet in every stitch around. And when you finish this round, you should still have a stitch count of 26. So now you can go ahead and finish stuffing the body before we finish continuing the neck. And then after you place the craft stuffing, go ahead and move your yarn marker up, and then you just need 1 single crochet in every stitch around for 9 more rounds. So 9 rounds of 1 single crochet in every stitch around, and for each round you should be maintaining your stitch count of 26 stitches. Then, after you finish your 9 rounds of 1 single crochet in every stitch, go ahead and make a slip stitch into the next stitch over. So you just yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and bring the yarn through both loops on the hook for a slip stitch. Then go ahead and finish off, just yarn over, and just bring enough yarn through to bury the loose yarn end. Unless you didn't leave a long loose yarn end on the head, then you can leave a longer yarn end. But now go ahead and stuff the neck and the body completely. Then after you stuff the neck and the body completely, this is what mine looks like. You can take and stuff the head with craft stuffing, and then take your tapestry needle and the long end that you left for sewing or the same colored yarn, and then you're going to position the head on top of the neck and make sure that the nose is straight with the front of the body. So you don't want the head facing this way or this way. You want it straight ahead. And then once you have the head straight, you can take your tapestry needle, and again you want to just double check that your nose is straight. Then you can take and sew. Here I have the head. I'm going to go into the head and then down and through the stitch on the neck. And then just bring the yarn through. Then, since I came out on the body, I'm going to go back in the body and then back up through the head. Don't worry if you skip stitches, because this first round is just to secure the head in place, and you can sew around multiple times to secure it, finish securing it in place. And always double check and make sure that the nose is still centered and straight, because you don't want to sew the head on crooked. And, sorry about that. This is what mine looks like after sewing the head on the neck, and you can see how the nose is straight, facing straight ahead. So now I'm going to show you how to make the ears. So for the ears, you're going to need 2 of the beige or Magnolia Way colored triangles, and you're going to need 2 of the pink colored inner ear portion. So I've already made 1 of the pink inner ears. I'm going to show you on video tutorial how to make the other one, but all 4 are made the same way. You just need 2 of the beige color and then 2 of the pink color. So now we're going to make 1 of the pink color together, and then you can make the rest of the triangles the same way. So the first thing that you're going to do is take whatever yarn color you're using, whether it's the beige or the pink. Go ahead and fold the yarn over on itself to form a loop. Take your crochet hook, go right through the loop, hold the base of the loop with the middle finger and thumb. Go ahead and yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through the loop for a slip knot. Go ahead and cinch that knot down and cinch the loop around your crochet hook. And then you're going to make a chain of 5. So yarn over, go through the loop for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now you're going to make a single crochet into the second chain from the hook. So count back 1, 2, go into the second chain from the hook, bring up a loop, and make a single crochet. And then you're just going to make 1 single crochet in each stitch back across, which will give you a stitch count of 4. So now I have a stitch count of 4. Then you're going to move up to the next row, which will also have a stitch count of 4. So you're going to chain 1, turn your work. That chain 1 counts as your first stitch. Go into the next stitch over, bring up a loop, make a single crochet for your second. Next stitch, make a single crochet for your third stitch. And then in the last stitch, make a single crochet for your fourth stitch. Now you're not going to chain 1, you're just going to turn your work, and then make a single crochet into the next stitch over. For your first stitch, go into the next stitch and make a single crochet. For your second stitch, and then in the last stitch make one more single crochet, and then that gives you 3 stitches for that row. Go ahead and turn your work, go into the next stitch over, make a single crochet, go into the next stitch over and make your second single crochet. Then you're just going to turn your work and make a slip stitch into the next stitch over. So go into the next stitch over, yarn over, turn the hook upside down and bring the yarn through both loops on the hook for a slip stitch. And you see how you formed a triangle. Then you're going to finish off. Just yarn over and just pull enough yarn through to bury into your work, because we're going to crochet the 2 ear pieces together. So go ahead, finish making 2 of the pink colored triangles, small triangles, and then 2 of the beige colored small triangles. So now I'm going to show you how I crocheted the 2 pieces together to make this adorable little ear, alpaca ear. So you're going to take one of each of the small triangle colors that you made, and then you want to have the pink triangle on top of the beige triangle. And you want the pink corner where you're going to join towards the top, and go ahead and tie a knot with the 2 short loose yarn ends. So now I tied a knot with the loose yarn end at the bottom of the triangle. So this is the bottom of the triangle, and then here's the 2 tips of the triangles with their loose yarn ends, and you want the ear to face you like this. Then take your crochet hook and you're going to go into that top corner of both triangles, and then take your beige colored yarn and bring up a loop, and then you can take and tie a knot with one of the loose yarn ends. Then you're going to chain 1, and then you're just going to make 1 single crochet evenly spaced up the side of the triangles, both of them. So make sure you grab a stitch of the beige and the pink triangle, and then you're just making 1 single crochet towards the tip of the triangle. So now I have 1 stitch right before the tip of the triangle. I'm going to make 2 single crochet into that same space. So I'm going to go into that space, grab both the pink and the beige, and then make a single crochet, and make 1 more single crochet into the same stitch. Then I'm going to tuck the 2 loose yarn ends towards the inside of both triangles. So I'm kind of sandwiching it between both triangles, and then I'm going to try to get right into the tip. So take your crochet hook and go right into the tip. You can kind of jiggle your crochet hook back and forth, and then get through both triangles, and then make 2 single crochet into the same space right on the tip. Then you're going to go into the next stitch along the side, and you're going to make 2 single crochet into that stitch. So 2 single crochet before the tip of the triangle, 2 single crochet into the tip of the triangle, and then 2 single crochet after the tip. And that just helps to keep the triangle from folding in, and it covers the back nicely as well. Then you just make 1 single crochet in every stitch down the opposite side of the triangle. My last stitch. Then I'm going to go ahead and finish off, and you want to yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through the loop, and bring enough yarn through to sew the back of the ear, because you're going to want to use the same colored yarn for the part that you're sewing. So you use pink to sew the front and then beige to sew the back. And then for all of your loose yarn ends, you're just going to tuck them inside of the ear. If you need to trim them, you can trim them, but I just go ahead and tuck my loose yarn ends to the inside of the ear. So there's no need for any craft stuffing. You have plenty of yarn from the loose yarn ends, and then you have your adorable little alpaca ear ready to sew on. So go ahead, finish both of your ears, and then come back. So now go ahead and get your pink yarn on your tapestry needle, and I use the magic circle on top of the head for lining up the ears, and you want to line up the ears one round out from the magic circle. So you just take your ear after you've tucked all the loose yarn ends in, place the ear so that the beige portion is right in line with one round out from the magic circle. Then take your tapestry needle and just go into the pink portion and then come up. Make sure you leave enough of a loose yarn end for tying a knot. Line up your ear again, and then I'm going to go up into the corner, which is one round out from the magic circle. Actually, the beige portion is one round out, but I came up 2 rounds out for the pink portion. And then I'm going to go into the pink portion, back towards the loose yarn end where I started, and then I can tie a knot. And then you just want to make sure that the front is sewn on, which it is. Then I'm going to come back and bury the pink portion later. So I just let go of both of the loose yarn ends. Now I'm going to sew the beige portion. So I'm going to get the beige portion on my tapestry needle. And then the beige portion is one round out from the magic circle. So I'm going to go in one round out from the magic circle and then come up through the back of the ear. And then I'm just going to finish sewing the back of the ear in place. Then when I'm finished sewing the back of the ear, I'm going to tie a knot on the back. I usually like to go through twice. Then I just take and go right where I tied the knot and then just come out of the ear. And make sure that you don't mess up the front design. And then just bury the loose yarn end inside of the ear. And then I repeat the same thing with the pink portion. So I just take the pink portion, the loose yarn ends, and if you have extra pink portion you can use it to sew the other ear. And then I just go right where I tied a knot and then go in through the pink portion of the ear, being careful not to go through to the back. You don't want the pink portion showing through on the back. And then just trim your loose yarn ends. And then you repeat the process with the other ear. So you want to go one round out in line with the magic circle. but make sure that both ears look the same. So you don't want one ear forward, one ear back, or both ears crooked. They should look the same on both sides. And this is how my ears look after I've sewn them in place. And you can see that I'm still the same distance from the eyes, which is what you want. This is what the sleepy eye looks like. And then for the safety doll eye, I'm a little bit further back, but I still lined them up the same way on top, one round out from the magic circle. So you can't see it with my little fur on top, but that's the same way that I place the ears. The only difference is you have, because the sleepy eye is longer, you have a little bit more distance from the safety doll eye. But that's the only difference. So this is the one with the safety doll eye. And then this is the one with the sleepy doll eye. And then this is what it looks like from the back. Now I'm going to show you how to make the feet. Now with the feet, you can use the same light brown for the toenails if you want to, or you can have fun and change the color of the toenails. So we're going to start with the light brown with the feet. So we're going to start with the light brown colored yarn, and we're going to start with the magic circle. So you're going to drape the yarn across your 4 fingers, use your thumb to stabilize, wrap the yarn around your 2 middle fingers twice, and then hold it in place with your pinky and your thumb. Then you're going to take your crochet hook, go around those 2 loops around the middle fingers, bring up a loop. Then you're going to yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through that loop for a slip knot. Then you're going to place 6 single crochet into the magic circle. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then just take your 4-finger and thumb in the other hand and hold the base of the 6 single crochet, and then you have these 2 loops on the opposite side. Go ahead and pull on one of them. If it doesn't close, let go and pull on the other one, but this one's closing, so just gently close it. Don't worry if you don't get it all the way closed. We can close it more later. Then take that loose yarn end and then pull on that. And then just turn your work so that we work in rounds. And then you're going to go into the first stitch in the round. And then you're going to make 2 single crochet into the same stitch. And you're going to make 2 single crochet into every stitch around until you have a total of 12 stitches in the round, and then come back. So now you should have 12 stitches in the round, and you can turn your work over and pull on the loose yarn end on the back if you need to close the center of your magic circle. Then you're going to take your loose yarn end. We're going to continue with our increase rounds, which means we're going to be increasing the number of stitches in the round. So we're going to be making 3 increase rounds for those of you that know how to make the chronological order increase rounds. For the first increase round, you're going to make 1 single crochet into the first stitch, and then 2 single crochet into the next stitch. And you're going to repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. So 1 single crochet into the first stitch, and then 2 single crochet into the next stitch. So go ahead, finish repeating that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker, and then come back. So now you should have a total of 18 stitches in the round. Go ahead and move the yarn marker up to where you left off, and then for this next increase round, you're going to make 1 single crochet into 2 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the next stitch, and then repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. 1 single crochet into 2 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the next stitch, repeating that pattern all the way around. And then now you should have 24 stitches in the round. Go ahead and move the yarn marker up to where you left off. And for this last increase round, you're going to make 1 single crochet into 3 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the next stitch. And then you're going to repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker, 1 single crochet into 3 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the next stitch, repeating that pattern all the way around. So now you should have finished with 30 stitches in the round. Go ahead and move your yarn marker up, and now you're only going to make 1 round of 1 single crochet in every stitch around. So 1 single crochet into every stitch around for only 1 round, and then come back. So now go ahead and move the yarn marker up to where you left off, and we're going to single crochet 2 stitches together 9 times. So you're going to go into the next stitch, bring up a loop, go into the next stitch, bring up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, go ahead and yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through all 3 loops for 1 single crochet 2 stitches together. And we're going to repeat that a total of 9 times. So we just finished our first one. Now we're going to single crochet 2 stitches together for our second one. I'm going to make 1 more with you. So there's my third one. Go ahead and finish a total of 9 single crochet 2 stitches together, and then come back. So I finished 9 single crochet 2 stitches together, and this is how my work looks so far. Then you're just going to make 1 single crochet into each of the remaining stitches. So only 1 single crochet in each of the remaining stitches in the round. Then you can take and move the yarn marker up, and then you're just going to make 1 round of 1 single crochet in every stitch around. So 1 round of 1 single crochet in every stitch around. So I finished 1 round, and I have 21 stitches in the round at this time, which is what you should have as well. Then just move the yarn marker up, and then you're just going to make 1 single crochet in every stitch until you're in the back of the foot. We're going to change colors in the back of the foot. So the back of the foot is back here, and then this curved portion that we made with the single crochet 2 stitches together is the front of the foot. So go ahead and make 1 single crochet in each stitch until you're in the back of the foot, and then we'll change colors together. So now I'm in the back of the foot, and I'm going to change colors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slip stitch into the next stitch over. So you just go right into the next stitch, yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and bring the yarn through both loops on the hook for a slip stitch. Then you're going to bring in your beige colored yarn or Magnolia Way colored yarn, and then just tie a knot. And then you can go ahead and cut the previous colored yarn. So I'm going to cut my light brown colored yarn. Then I'm going to go ahead and remove the yarn marker, because now we're going to be using the point where we color changed to determine how many rounds that we're making. So you're going to make 1 single crochet in every stitch around for 1 round, and then come back.